Welcome back, Insomniacs. It's Kurious Cyclopes.
And Steve.
And here we are in December. And yes, we are so fortunate to have a beautiful snowfall. So, Steve, did you enjoy the snow yesterday?
Fuck no, dude.
Why? What could have possibly went wrong?
Oh, snow adds a level of safety when you're driving on the road. Yeah. So when you go to make a turn downhill on snow, suddenly you fucking slide out and hit a stop sign like I did.
Yep, so all for the sake of the show, Steve ran his car into a stop sign and took his bumper off. So you guys better appreciate Steve. Can we get a round of applause for Steve? Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. And, thank you for putting everything out there to sacrifice for the Insomniacs.
No problem.
We really appreciate it. All right, so, of course, as you can guess, it is December. We got a lot of Christmas horror to be reviewing. And something that I actually liked is we decided last night to start with something very new and very fresh. So, what movie did we decide to watch last night?
We went with Better Watch Out.
Mm-hmm. And I know you actually saw it, several days before you watched it with me last night, right?
Yeah, it just came out this past week, so I picked it up one of the days I got out of work a little early and checked it out that night, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I will say, since it is so new, we'll put a spoiler warning, of course. So, yeah, if you guys really want to watch this without any surprises, go watch the movie and then come back to this episode. All right. Just as disclaimer so we don't make anyone upset.
Right.
Well, anyways, I heard the title on the internet. I saw that a lot of people liked it. I didn't know if it was a slasher, if it was a supernatural Christmas horror film, because, it can go either way. So, it was definitely interesting going in pretty blind to it.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I really enjoyed it overall. So, how about you give some thoughts on what we saw towards the beginning of it?
So it started, I went in the same way, kind of only knowing that it was a Christmas horror movie and nothing else. And it starts out like you learn that there's a babysitter coming over, take care of this kid while his parents are doing something. And he's like talking with his friend about how like, oh, I know she likes me and I'm going to like put the moves on her and stuff. Like,
yeah.
So that's all you really get. And then like level one of this movie is it's like a home invasion thing. Mm-hmm. Like
you were spot on with that when you said that last night. Yeah.
So somebody's like fucking with them and throws a brick through the window and shit like that.
Yep, and then they hear noises, so they gotta investigate and like, yeah. So yeah, you think it's a home invasion movie at first, but of course there's more to it. There's a twist pretty early on.
Yeah, probably like end of the first act of the movie.
Hell yeah! I was actually surprised because when you hear there's a twist, you always assume it's going to be towards the end of a movie.
Right,
but
yeah.
No, this was pretty much right in the beginning.
You always think they're going to Shyamalan it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, so after, you realize it's not a home invasion, it turns out the boy and his friend were pranking the girl to, I guess, so he could save her.
Right.
And be the big, brave, knight in shining armor. But I will say, it took a really interesting twist. And I can't say I quite saw this coming, but yeah, the girl ends up becoming a hostage pretty much from the boy she's babysitting and his friend. And a big motive of that is she doesn't like him.
Right.
And that makes him angry. He's a spoiled brat,
That's what even I said to you last night while we were watching it. I was like, how did this kid go from like, oh, I really like her and I want to put the moves on her to when she tells him like, oh, it's disgusting and inappropriate. Now he wants to fucking hold a gun to her head?
Exactly.
Like, how do those two things connect?
It almost makes you speculate. This could have been his first time doing something. But I don't know. The thing is, him and his friend are always getting into mischief. And the boy who's being babysat, he said he always finds a way to get them out of the trouble. But it seems like it's not his first time killing, but it must be because of the way his friend reacted. Because his friend was having fun, but he didn't quite like actually murdering people.
Well, they did give you the little hint that he's like a little psycho kid about how he like lied to his best friend about the hamster dying or whatever, and then he like whispers to the babysitter like, I knew it. I did it on purpose or whatever. So like he's a little psychopath.
Yeah, and it's not often that you see a child villain that isn't supernatural or possessed or something. He was pretty much just a really, really, really spoiled kid with a obviously rich family. But I'll say the actress, the babysitter, I liked her. I thought her role was great.
Yeah, she was good.
The main boy, like the main villain, dude, he was not. I mean, he didn't convince me very well. Like, it's so hard to find him intimidating when he's talking all.
Yeah,
like,
he
really,
was like snotty and whiny.
Yeah.
Like he was just like a little spoiled brat who seemed like he was throwing a temper tantrum.
Exactly. So, if anything, I found him probably more annoying than like, oh, I wonder what he's gonna do next. I'm so suspensed out. But, and I will say this: I kind of liked his friend, who was pretty much under his control,
right?
That did his bidding. He was a little sympathetic. But something that just blows my mind is, how old were these kids? Probably.
I think they were supposed to be 13.
Yeah. Well, you see them early on in the film. They're doing like oxys and getting drunk and shit. And I was like, and you were saying like, wow, these are the coolest kids ever.
Yeah,
they're doing drugs, smoking weed, drinking alcohol. But I found that a little like, what? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it made sense relative to the story because it was like, oh, we're trying to be impressive and seem more mature.
Yeah,
like,
and that was a big theme. He got so mad every time the babysitter would call him a boy or like,
kiddo.
I'm not a little boy. I'm a man. So it was interesting. It's funny because when we found out what was going on with the twist, one of the first things I said is, I hope that there's no ex-boyfriend or boyfriend coming to the rescue. And guess what? That kind of did happen, but not in the way I thought it was going to happen. So I actually really liked it. I did like the boyfriend. And he did take a baseball bat to the head and get up like 2 minutes later. Yeah. But, it was fun. So
the one complaint that I had was when that boyfriend shows up and they like tie him up and everything, and then the kid goes to do the Home Alone to him.
Oh my god, yeah.
That it's like a cutaway thing, and you just see the yellow paint from the can mixing with the blood, and like I wanted to see that paint can swing and just like demolish this dude's head.
Especially because when the boy dropped the bucket off the top of the stairs, and he saw it hit him in the face when he actually made contact the second time, he's like, "Oh my god, his head just exploded!" And I was like, "Come on, like show us the forehead caved in or something." Because you see the back of his head, which is totally intact. But, yeah, it's almost like, why wouldn't they show it with practical effects? Come on, it can't be that hard.
It was like a missed opportunity for some real, gore.
Yeah, I wonder if they maybe originally did do that, but then there was some problem with the ratings. So they're like, oh, all right, we got to take the smashed head away.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know, because, of course, the only reason why people would care about that is, if you have a regular rating, the more people are gonna see it,
right?
And distribution and all that's easier. But yeah, guys, trust me, I've seen a lot of Christmas horror movies. This isn't like any that I've seen,
right?
Because it takes place on Christmas, like Christmas Eve or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and it's not anything you would expect. There's nothing supernatural. There's no killer Santas that are crazy. Like, it's pretty much just a boy taking his babysitter hostage. Yep. Pretty simple. But, there was a lot of fun moments in it, and I was delighted. Especially when there's something that's new. I'm always delighted when I enjoyed it.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know what to think of the movie, like, while I was watching it, but as it wrapped, I was just like, I really actually enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Like, I was almost surprised. I don't know why. Because I like the idea of a Christmas horror movie sells me right away. I'm like, oh, I gotta check that out.
And something I really loved that personally really made me think was at the end of the movie, of course, because, he's so smart. He, like, cleans everything up, makes it look like people killed themselves. Because, he ended up killing his friend when he was trying to free the girl. He ended up killing an ex-boyfriend, the current boyfriend of the babysitter. And he thought he killed the babysitter. But this is what I love. So after he cleans everything up and does all this effort right before his parents are coming home because he sees the GPS, he thinks he's in the clear, and all of a sudden, when his mom's holding him, like, oh, my poor baby, it's going to be okay. He looks out the window, and the girl is alive because they're like, oh, we found it. Wait, this one's not dead. And the girl flips him fucking off as they get loaded into the ambulance. And I loved that. And I thought that ending was good enough. But then after like 2 seconds of credits, it cuts back to him. He's like, "Mommy, I'm worried about my babysitter. Can we visit her at the hospital?" Because he wants to finish the job because he knows this is the first time he's actually going to be held accountable for his actions. And of course, what better actions to be held accountable for versus his worst crimes ever, which were murders.
Right.
So that's going to be really, really awesome. And obviously, I don't need a sequel because it's just fun. Like, oh, what happened when he got to the hospital? Right. We'll never know, so it's fun to speculate. But I really liked it. It's not your typical Christmas horror film. Would you recommend this?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I recommend it too, especially because it's almost unfair how it seems like the best Christmas horror films tend to be the older ones,
right.
you know? But for a newer one, this is very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And nothing supernatural about it. It's kind of like a realistic horror film, so it was great. And of course there was some comedy in it, but it wasn't overbearing. It just perfectly matched up with it. So
I don't know why the one thing that cracks me up is the dad of the kid when you see him at the beginning of the movie.
Oh my god,
he was the dude from like Seinfeld and that Tick TV series. But when he is asking the wife about putting his ornaments up, and she's like, "Man, you are so," and you like think she's gonna say gay or something, and he goes, "What? Metrosexual?"
Oh yeah.
She's like, "That's not even a word."
Yeah. She's like, "It's metrosexual, not meterosexual." But yeah, what was up with her getting the sense, like, "Are you sure you never sucked any like dicks in your life? Like not even your friends?" And he's just like taking it. I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Like that's an indicator of how dysfunctional that family is, which is how they probably raised such a little shit, you know. But yeah, I loved it. If anything, I would almost call it a cross of Home Alone and horror, right? Because they even referenced it.
Right.
Even though it's kind of the opposite. Instead of the kid defending himself in his home, he's attacking people in his home. So, yeah, so definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I think that's going to wrap up for this one. So, Kurious Cyclopes.
And Steve.
Thank you for watching Never Sleep Again TV. Stay tuned for more Christmas episodes and have happy holiday.